we don't even know that we are afraid because there's shame attached to fear. As Black women, we feel like if we admit that we are afraid, we're less than. And so today, I want for you to admit that I am afraid, that you are afraid. You're afraid to do the big thing. You're afraid to be challenged. You're afraid to be wrong. You're afraid to step out and fail. You're afraid to step out and do the thing that you're really supposed to be doing. You're afraid to be broke. You're afraid to be rich. You're afraid of life in itself. You're afraid to be in a relationship. You're afraid to be in the marriage. You're afraid to tackle the issues. You're afraid to stand up strong and tall. You are afraid. And today we are tackling that so that you can finally overcome your fear, not just your fear in the world, but your fear as a Black woman. Because if we're honest, it hit different. Nobody want to talk about it. Nobody want to say it. That's why we always being stuck. But guess what? Today, we're taking the mask off of fear. We're taking the shame away, and we are walking in our fear, and we're doing it scared. Stick around for this episode because this is one that you don't want to miss because I'm all the way in. I'm locked in this episode, y'all. And so y'all gonna get the real uncut Wugochi in this episode because today, me and you, we overcoming our fear. So let's go. Pop for your girl.
That's right, it's a podcast.
It's pop for your girl.
We got to go out.
Pop for your girl. It's pop for your girl. Hey, what's up, you guys? It's your girl, Wugochi Alice Lewis here, and welcome to Pod for Your Girl, where women of color feel seen and are heard and get spiritually set free. Listen, today's episode is going to be a powerhouse episode, and I am just super excited to get this conversation going, okay? But I just want to say welcome to all the new Pod for Your Girlies out there. If this is your first time listening to Pod for Your Girl, welcome to the girl chat, okay? Welcome to the situation room, okay? Welcome to all of the different segments that we have. We always start with the Go Girl. We're gonna move into the Patch Your Weave segment, and then we're gonna come through with a stats moment because y'all know I always gotta have my stats to support that Patch Your Weave, and then we're gonna finish it up with a little bit of faith in the faith-filled segment. So it's gonna be a good episode, you guys. Welcome, and to all my Pop for Your Girl girlies out there who have been rocking with Pop for Your Girl this whole year. Welcome back. Y'all already know the deal, and I hope y'all are ready to overcome your fears on today because that's what we're doing. Oh, I'm excited. I didn't hit the mic. Because that's what we doing. We are overcoming our fears on today, and I'm just super excited, okay? But yeah, anyways, let me just catch y'all up with my life, okay? Because I am not afraid to say that I have binged watched Scandal again, okay? And I don't know about y'all, but like for me, Scandal back in the day when it first came out was a part of the Thank God It's Thursday. I don't know if y'all remember that hashtag TGIF, but it was TGIT, Thank God It's Thursday, because Grey's Anatomy came on, How to Get Away with Murder came on, and Scandal came on all at the same time. And now Scandal is on Netflix, y'all. And they done messed up when they did that because I never got a chance to see how Scandal ended because I think I was just going through that era. I had went through an era in my life where I just did not watch TV, okay? And I can finally say that I'm okay with watching TV now, y'all. I went through an era where I was like, you know what? I feel like TV takes away from working. It takes away from your productivity. And don't get me wrong, you still want to have modesty or whatever, but at the same time, not modesty, but you still want to have moderation or whatever. But at the same time, if you feel like watching you a little bit of Netflix and having your you time, do it, okay? Because I'm in my era of, listen, I'm not going to overthink it. I'm not going to think too hard on it. If I feel like doing something, I'm going to do it, okay? And so I decided to go back and binge watch Scandal from where I left off at. And my go girl on this episode is Olivia Pope. Okay. If you have not guessed it already. And it got to a point where, I was watching it and there are some things I don't agree with. Okay. If you know what I'm saying, if you watch Scandal, okay, okay, there's some things as a married woman I do not agree with. Okay. But from the entrepreneurship side, I gotta give Olivia Pope her flowers. The character, not just Kerry Washington, but the character of Olivia Pope and how she held it down and how she raised up other people. And I think sometimes when, you have a business or when you're a boss or when you are, in a certain situation or a certain environment where you are a leader, okay, you get so caught up in the work and doing the work. And sometimes you forget to raise up other people, to teach them what you're doing, to teach them your knowledge and your understanding and what you have. You got to create mini-me's. That's another way of leaving a legacy. And when I was watching Olivia Pope, I learned something from that. When I watched Scandal this time on Netflix, I learned something. I was like, you know what? In my business, with Afrentic, y'all know I just opened up my store this year. It inspired me. Scandal inspired me. And it's crazy to say Scandal inspired me to not just leave a legacy when it comes to the business, but to leave a legacy within other people. Who am I duplicating myself to be? Who am I raising up? Who am I sowing time into? Who am I sowing my energy into so that when I'm gone, they can use my knowledge, my wisdom, my understanding to do the things that they are called to do so they can go out and impact the world on a greater level. And so I loved how Olivia Pope, in many episodes, she was fearless. She was strong, and she would allow herself to be duplicated. She never gate kept. Right. And, I feel like this episode is going to be so powerful, and I'm going to kind of segue into the Petro Weave segment in just a second. Hello. What's up, girl? Yes, I'm talking to you. Did you hit the subscribe button yet? All right, y'all, take a second, pause this video and go subscribe to the channel. Subscribe right now, because guess what? When you subscribe, you are helping us over here. You are helping your girl to just go forward and do the thing that God has called her to do. So if you want to be a help, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so we can continue to grow our community here at Pod for Your Girl. Listen, this podcast is for you. Yes, you, girl. So go ahead and subscribe and join the community. All right, I'm super excited. I know you hit that subscribe button. I'm excited to welcome you to the community, and I'm excited to just have you join in on the conversation. All right, y'all, let's get back to the episode. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe. There you go. But the reason I give Olivia Pope her flowers and give her the go girl in this episode is because she never gate kept. And the thing with gatekeeping, if you're not familiar with that term, it's like when you know something, but somebody else asks you about it. Like, hey, where you get that t-shirt from? And you don't want them to jack your swag. You don't want them to jack your style. So you don't tell them. You just like, oh, this old thing, I can't even remember where I got it from. Instead of telling them like, oh yeah, I got it from Afrentic. You know what I mean? I got it from this store up the street. You should go get you one. It was only $35. Instead of telling them, you let jealousy come in, or you let, that pride come in. So you held on to valuable information, right? And with Olivia, when it came to her team, she never held on to valuable information. She continued to sow information. And there was a time where, she went on to work for the White House. She gave her whole company to someone who worked for her. She said, now it's your turn to be great. Now it's your turn to lead this company. Now it's your turn to step in and do the hard things that I taught you already how to do. And so I love that. And so as Black women, I really want us to tap into this episode and understand, like, why do we gatekeep from one another? And so this goes back to the episode's title, How Do We Overcome Fear? I truly believe that things like gatekeeping, envy, jealousy, pride, false humility, all of these come in because we have a sense of fear instilled in us. I remember I was at the podcast summit and there was this Black woman. They gave us chances where we could all come up to the mic and ask different questions if you wanted to. There was a Black woman. She went up to the mic and she asked a question. She was like, hey, how do we implement this information without sharing it with our team? Because I have a lot of people on my team and they have podcasts, but I didn't even tell them about the podcast summit. And so since I came, I don't want to give them the information that I got. And in that moment, I just was thinking to myself, sis, you are doing yourself a disservice, because if you are afraid to share valuable information with your team, if you are afraid, and she also went on to say, because what if they take my information and then they implement it and their podcast pop off and mine don't? That's what she said, y'all. I kid you not. I wish I had a recorder to record her. This is what she said, Black woman. And I'm just like, why are we like that? Why do we think if we have valuable information, we need to hold on to it so that someone else won't be successful before we are? So someone else won't arrive at the mountaintop. They won't have their mountaintop experience before we do. So you're afraid that they're going to take your tea, right? And they're going to implement it and become successful, and that's going to cause you to be jealous. So you were jealous before you even of something that they don't even have. That's crazy. Like, you're jealous of them and they don't even have the information that you have. You know what I mean? And so that led me to just kind of do some research. And I just want to share that we know the stereotype, because if you don't know by now, I talk about this a lot on the podcast. And I think this is going to be the overall theme of the Pat Your Weave segment. Because if I'm knowing anything, it's that Black women, we believe that we are strong. We try to be strong. When people look at us, they see strength, okay? And so the thing is, if we are deemed as we are strong and we don't fear anything. But the thing is, sis, that in itself is a heavy burden. That's number one. And research does show that African American women often internalize fear due to cultural expectations, racism, and this is the big part right here, generational trauma, okay? So the fact that she was asking that question, somebody had done something to that sis. I'm going to tell y'all that right now. She experienced something in the past where somebody took something from her, someone abused their power when it came to her, or she saw someone succeed at her expense, and it hurt her deeply. And that was trauma. And because of that, now she's receiving valuable information and she's afraid that that pattern will continue. And so I'm just speculating, but I guarantee if we got a chance to talk to her, that would happen. How do I know this? Because I've been there before. I've had to battle and fight my fears based on traumas that I've went through in my past. If you are not new to this episode, you know that I have talked about my past trauma before. Okay? And so because of trauma, it would raise up different fears, psychological fears in your mind that present itself as self-preservation or present itself as ways where, you can be successful. But the thing is, those very fears, I would like to call them roadblockers, because really the fact that you're afraid that someone on your team is going to take valuable information and succeed before you, okay? Or someone in your circle is going to take your valuable information and be more successful than you. That is a roadblock. That is a mentality. That very mentality is the same mentality that is going to hold you back. Yet it is masking itself as fear. And the crazy thing about it is that she didn't even know that her question was a fear-based question, or else I don't even think she would have got up there to ask the question in the first place. That's number one. Stat moment. According to the American Psychological Association, Black women report higher levels of anxiety and fear-based stressors tied to systemic discrimination, financial insecurity, and safety concerns compared to white women. This makes it harder to bounce back from fear because fear is rooted in very real lived experiences. I want to ask you a question today. Are you battling fear rooted in systemic discrimination? Has anyone discriminated against your mom, against your grandma, against your uncle, against your father? And now, because you feel like, oh, the world hasn't changed, you don't want to go up for that job position because you're afraid that that same situation may happen to you. That's fear. Financial security. Are you struggling with being afraid to spend money because you never want to be broke again? Are you afraid to pay your tithes because you think, why should I give money to the church just because I got it? Financial insecurity can manifest itself in a lot of different ways. Are you afraid to invest in stocks? Invest in your 401k, put money to the side, even open a bank account because your great-great-grandma never had a bank account because they never taught you that to invest in financial institutions. So now that is a foreign language for you. And that fear is the very thing that's holding you back from generational wealth. Are you afraid to put money to the side to invest in your down payment in a home? No, I'm comfortable in having an apartment. Who needs a home? Have you seen the interest rates? No. The devil is a lie. We gotta do better with our mindsets. Listen, we battle these things more than white women, and that is the reality. And the thing is, it's harder for us to bounce back from fear because the fear is real. It's real. You really saw your mom go through that abusive relationship. So now you never want to get married. You really saw your mom or your dad always be broke. So now you're afraid to spend money or invest extra money, right? These things are very real for you. Okay. But if we're ever going to succeed as a culture, if we're ever going to succeed as Black women, if we're ever going to reach the mountaintop, we got to stop being afraid. Okay. We got to stop being afraid of someone else taking it from us, of someone else reaching there before us. You got to stop being afraid and stop looking at the person on your left and looking at the person on your right. Let them run the race and you run your own race. The only way, and this is something that I've been learning lately, the only way you can really, really overcome your fear, and we're going to get into that now. how to overcome your fear. This is what we're talking about. Proven ways and God's view, okay? That's the dynamic that we're coming from. Proven ways and God's view. So number one is acknowledge the fear. Don't deny it. That's number one. Number one, fear is not weakness. If you can acknowledge that you are afraid, if you can acknowledge, if that woman that went up and asked that question, if she could really acknowledge that the real issue is not, should you share the information with them? Should you give them this information for free because they didn't come to the podcast summit? The real issue is you don't want them to be more successful with the same information. You're afraid of what they will do with the information. You're afraid of where they could go with the information. You're too busy looking at them. So the issue is fear is not weakness. That's number one. We got to understand that just because you were afraid that they may reach there before you, if you can acknowledge that, you know what, I was afraid of that, but at the end of the day, I'm going to still give them the information. If you can acknowledge that and move forward with that, we doing something, okay? So even biblical people like Moses and Esther had to confront fear. God works best when we're honest about where we are. Woo. Do you guys know, if you keep on saying to yourself, no, that ain't true. I ain't really jealous. I ain't really envious. I ain't really afraid that they gonna get there before me. I ain't really, if you keep doing that, God can't do nothing with that. Okay? So now we're moving into number two. Number two is, if you really want to overcome your fear, the next thing you have to do is you have to shift your perspective. Fear often magnifies what if. Replace that what if with faith-filled even if, okay? So instead of saying what if you say even if that happened, okay? So we're still going to use my sis at the podcast summit. So she was saying, what if they got to the next level before her? Instead of her saying that, she should have been saying, even if they got to the next level before me, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to get there. Even if. She should change her perspective. You need to change your perspective. So it's not what if they get there before me. It's even if they get there before me, I'm still going to get there. That's not going to stop my shine. That's not going to stop my thunder. That's not going to start my show. I'm still going to get there. Even if helps you to overcome your fear. Okay? Number 3, take a bold step. Take at least one bold step. So fear loses its power when we act anyway. Small obedience leads to courage. Okay? So if you really want to overcome your fear, you have to act anyway. Do it scared. Okay, that's what I said in the beginning of the podcast. Today, we do it scared. Today, you start the business scared. Today, you write the book scared. Today, you go to school scared. If somebody been scared, afraid of going back to school, getting that degree, what if it doesn't work? Even if I have to go to school for 5 years, I'm going to get done. Even if, okay? It's going to work. Community support is the last one that I want to give y'all. If you want to overcome your fears, you're going to need support. So my sis at the podcast summit, you're saying, what if your circle gets there before you? You need your circle to get there. You need that support to get there. You need to share the valuable information with your community so that they can encourage you, so they can hold you accountable, so that they can say, oh, remember what they said at the podcast summit? You told me they said this at the podcast summit. Why are you not doing it? Consistency. Show up. Do what you got to do. You need community support. And with community support, you can truly overcome your fears. Black women, we thrive in community, okay? Sisterhood, prayer circles, therapy groups. Fear shrinks when it's shared in safe spaces. So sis, I need you to find a safe place, a safe space where you can really just be yourself. You can let your hair down. You can be anybody that you want to be, and you can share everything that you are dealing with, okay? Wherever that place is, you need to feel safe, and you need to be able to go there whenever it's necessary, okay? Okay, so I'm getting down to the nitty gritty. We're moving into the faith-filled segment. And with that, I just want to give you guys one scripture. Isaiah 41:10. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. Okay? The takeaway that I want to give you guys for that scripture is God never calls us to live fearlessly without him. Okay? Okay? He calls us to live fearless because he is with us, okay? And this is my thing. We always, and I was just dealing with this the other day with myself. Like, it's so easy to give God the glory when things are going well. But are you giving God the glory when things are going bad? When you didn't arrive, when you failed, when things didn't go your way, when things happen that's out of your control, did you cast that to God and say, God, well, I give you the glory that my bank account is in the negative. I give you the glory that that job didn't accept my application and I didn't get the job. God, I still give you the glory, even though that situation didn't work out. We always want to give God the glory when good things happen. But are you giving him the glory because you know he's in control when something bad happened to you? Can you give him the glory for that too? You know, and I think that's the biggest thing that I really want to share with y'all today. Yeah, y'all, we can really overcome our fear, and we can walk in faith, and we can walk in purpose. We really, really, truly can. But we have to acknowledge, and for one, it's just understanding that fear hits different for Black women because our traumas are different. We've gone through harder things. We have more things up against us, and that is true. But is it not overcomable? No, it is overcomable. We can overcome those things that we have went through. Just because it hits different doesn't mean we cannot overcome it. Okay. And so the first thing is acknowledging it. It's making sure that we understand that it's real. Okay. And so, yeah, y'all already know I love you guys. I appreciate each and every one of y'all for tuning into the podcast. This was a really, really good podcast today. And I wasn't just talking to you. I'm talking to myself because I know we all struggle with fears. We all struggle with fears, but today we overcome those fears together. And so the main things you need to know, number one, acknowledge your fear, don't deny it. Number two, shift your perspective. Number three, take at least one bold step. And number four, community support. You need it. Okay, those are the 4 takeaways that you need for overcoming your fear. Okay, and know that God is with you. You're not supposed to overcome your fear by yourself. Okay, God is with you. He got your back. Okay, yes, y'all. And so, y'all, I would be remiss if I didn't tell y'all to share this episode with someone else. Let them know that Pod for Your Girl just dropped a new episode and we are overcoming our fears together. Let them know that we got 4 takeaways that they need in their lives, okay? We praying for our good sis at the Podcast Summit prayerfully that she did share those gems with her sisters. Let's send up a prayer request for her. And yeah, y'all, let's just go forward and be great in all the things that God called us to do. Y'all already know I got a prayer journal that I want each of y'all to go and cop. Let's continue to journal. Let's continue to build. Let's continue to talk about your fears in the prayer journal. Pray about your fears, okay? Pray about your fears. Release your fears unto the Lord, okay? Get the prayer journal, y'all. Y'all don't, listen, don't sleep on this journal. Don't sleep on this journal. Go get the prayer journal. And if you have not shopped at Afrentic, check out my boutique. It's in the West End of Atlanta, but you can also shop online at Afrentic.com. So both of the links for those are down below, and I really want y'all to check those things out. But yeah, y'all, subscribe, like, share, and until the next episode of Pop for Your Girl, peace out. Pop for your girl.
That's right, it's a podcast.
It's pop for your girl.
We got to go out.
Pop for your girl.